On the evening of December 10th and the night of December 11th, more than 50 tornadoes passed over 8 states in the Midwestern United States. It was a series of powerful tornadoes. The ferocious whirlwind lifted debris from buildings it destroyed to a height of more than 9 kilometers. And its path across the surface of the earth is first estimated at nearly 400 kilometers, an all-time record in U.S. observation history. Kentucky was the hardest hit, where the tornado was the strongest in the state's history.
And I'm gonna miss her so much.
I came back last night, but they were screaming.
A lot of people lost their loved ones today. And I'm looking for my wife, and I need her.
There were people everywhere, lots of children, people with lacerations, broken bones. I mean, they just kept coming in. We were using different parts of the hospital for triage, and we were suturing people up normally where we pre-op people before surgery, the ER. I mean, it was kind of crazy.
The sounds that I was hearing was like a war zone. People crying and begging for help.
One was in this arm and one was in this arm. I never saw my 3-year-old because my face couldn't turn that way, but I did see the baby, and he cried, and then he just stopped. So at that time, I thought he was God, but he wasn't. I never heard my 3-year-old say anything.
Those images, just like last night, I was in my daughter's house, trying to sleep, and I couldn't because I still hearing the sirens and the people begging for help, and the images of the lady with the baby in her arm, dead.
Everything was so calm outside. I mean, literally, you could hear a pin drop. No wind, no nothing. And then all of a sudden, you could hear from a far distance what sounded like a train. Everything started the wind and the sounds started it went from being so silent to being just like a bomb had been dropped. You can see in the sky this dark funnel cloud. And I'm screaming at my kids, get down, get down, get down. All of a sudden, the pressure in my ears, you could hear the windows pop out in my house. My house started shaking. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know if we were gonna make it.
I don't think anybody was prepared. A lot of people I've talked to said they were not prepared. I don't think the city was prepared. I don't think the people who lost their homes were definitely not prepared for that. I never thought it was going to happen to me. No one ever thinks it's going to happen to them.
No one was prepared for this. But for what reason? The tornado formed as early as 10 a.m. on the coast and began its movement inland. And from a certain point, its trajectory was clear. Why didn't people evacuate? The town of Mayfield suffered more than any other. It became a mountain of rubble. One of the terrible tragedies is the story of the candle factory. Even after getting the signal that a tornado was coming, the factory continued to operate. People weren't allowed to go home.
And on December 10th, I was out there at the candle factory, and this monstrously huge building was reduced to a flat land of rubble that you could just kind of crawl up on top of. There were people inside that we were trying to get to, and of course, if you walked in certain places, they would yell, "You're making the roof come down on us more. You're making the ceiling come down on us more. And so you had to watch where you stepped. Additionally, you had to watch the men that were working with the cranes had to watch if they lifted metal on one section trying to get somebody out. Sometimes it would put pressure on people in another area, a pocket where, you know, they were trying to stay alive, and it would put pressure on them, forcing them to be screaming out so that we would have to stop. And that was a very painful and emotionally draining experience.
Close my eyes and all I see is people hollering and screaming for help. So I'm not doing good at all. You're messing with a person when you see that and you can't help anybody. You're trying to help yourself get out.
And there were people that had been amputations based on the events that had happened, and the broken bones and the crushed, mangled bodies that came out that were screaming will be something that will stay with me forever.
Climate. This terrible enemy is killing us. Its power is immense. Its attacks unpredictable. And this is only the beginning. While we are not prepared to defend ourselves, tell me, are we satisfied that all we do is sort through rubble on the battlefield and walk around each other? The climate comes when it wants and takes whatever it wants. It takes us. Our lives are not valued in a consumerist society.
The first week after this happened, I was with the search party looking for Nissa. She was a little girl that was friends with my daughter. I knew her family, and her whole family was killed in a tornado. All 7 of them. The kids, the grandmother, the mother, the father, they were all killed. And after the tornado, they found everybody but her. So for several days after this tornado happened, me and my kids went to search for her. We started at where she lived at, and we walked and moved things and moved debris. And the day after that this happened, we were still finding bodies, like finding people. And then when we found the little girl, her body was literally wrapped around a tree. And I'm like, I mean, it was one of the hardest things that a person would ever have to go through, is to literally, you're out searching for someone and you're begging, you know, God, please let me find this person alive. But then you find them and they're wrapped around a tree.
This whole square, this whole town was obliterated at a level you can't put words on. People are walking around trying to find a safe place to go. They have blood on them. And my husband fought in Iraq, and so he's seen a lot of devastation. And he agreed. He felt like he was standing in a war zone. It was just catastrophic beyond all you can imagine, and the pain was almost bigger than any one person could bear inside your soul if you were human. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. I wish I could tell you and explain to you how painful this is to see, and to see how lost people are. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get thinking about some and it gets a little hard. I apologize. And now we're probably more in a level of frustration because people want to know, where is FEMA? Where is this help? Where is the Red Cross? Where is this help? How do I get money?
And I'm sitting here and I see on the news all the time how there's all this money with the Red Cross, the United Way, FEMA. But where, excuse my language, where the hell is it at? We're not seeing it. We're not seeing any of that money. And then you're told, like I was told from FEMA, well, all we can do is offer you a loan. What am I going to do with a loan at a high interest rate? And not knowing what you're going to do and thinking the government is going to step in and is going to help you? No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're only going to help the people who they're going to be able to pick and choose a few different ones who they can get the photo ops with. They're not going to help everybody. There's like 5% of people out of 100% that have received any kind of help since the tornado. The other 95% of us don't know what we're going to do.
Once the news press pulled out of town and the big, I guess you could say, hoopla of the tornado had passed, then the people became more forgotten in a way. I'm sorry, I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but it is a lot. It's so much. It is more than your mind, if you're standing in the middle of it, can take. It really is.
Many people that I know are going through a really tough time right now. And I want people to know all around the world, you are not exempt. You are not covered by some bubble that this can't happen to you, because it can. At any time. At any time. And it's only getting worse. From what I have seen with the whole climate change situation, it's getting worse. Way worse. So, and the government doesn't care. They don't care. How many lives are lost? How many homes are lost? How many people are destroyed? They don't care. And that is my own personal opinion based on what I have went through here over the last month.
Our lives are not valued in a consumerist society. And how else can we explain that it is more important to the powers that be how they decorate their homes for the holidays? On social networks, they write huge posts about it and about people's deaths. They sometimes get off with one line, but our lives are not just lines on social networks. Cataclysms are escalating. Look at how much things have gotten worse in the last few years. Even a fool can calculate this progression. Human casualties will increase hundreds, if not thousands of times. We will see for ourselves how our children will not become adults. Is that what we want? It's time for us to act.
And as us people, we need to come together to make sure the government does their job, no matter what country you're in. And if we can't come together and stop with all of the diversity and the hate and focusing on the wrong things, then we can't never make change. Change happens when more than one person sticks together. That's how change happens. To me, we should all want better for the generations to come. But it starts with us. It starts with us. And too many people right now are so worried about the me syndrome of being selfish and feeling entitled that they're not worried about the generations to come, the people who are coming behind them. And it's sad. It's very sad. Because I want to know that when God takes me off this planet, that my kids or my grandkids that are to come, they're going to have a better way, a better space, a better place to live. And until we get that love and that unity together, we can't get nothing done. So that's what people need to do. They need to start looking at their neighbor or looking at their friend and saying something kind for a change. Say, I love you, my friend. You mean something to me. I want your life to be better. I want you to have a better tomorrow. Instead of worrying about their life and what they're going through, care about other people. Love other people. Kindness is for free. Kindness don't cost a thing. Kindness is for free.
What I would say is our earth is ever changing. And for you to believe for one moment, no matter where you live, that you are safe from a natural disaster, you are lying to yourself. You're lying to your family. It is not true. Many countries, including where I sit right now, we sit on fault lines. We could have an earthquake at any time that could shake this whole community and suck half of it in. We definitely know now that we can have tornadoes like this again. Even if it's just simply high winds, people don't understand how high a wind can get. And if you don't take what we've learned and what we're still learning and apply it to your life, then you're setting yourself up for maybe a loss that you have to face someday. And you think, well, I could have done something. You need to learn about the earth. You need to learn about climate. You need to learn what you can do to help, how you can put yourself forward and make the conscious action to be proactive.
How many more disasters need to happen before we finally realize that we need to unite, that we need to build a creative society?